Hi everybody, how you doing? Lovely to see you all on this full moon. Just hopping on to do a bit of a reading. The last couple of days have had anything to go by, or anything to go by. It's been a bit full on. Yesterday I was howling in the paddock because it took me 3 hours to put a pig fence, electric fence up, and it was raining, and I was checking tanks and clearing leaves. I just had a complete meltdown. It was all too much. I kept catching my hand on the pliers, and I've got bruises, and you know, just sobbed. And then we had a big storm last night, and I chose not to shut the door fully of my chickens. And this morning I went out and the fox has been and killed every single one of them. So I howled some more. And I didn't beat myself up because, you know, sometimes that happens. It happens, you know, you go, oh, I forget. But I was like, oh, it's really rainy. I'm sure they'll be fine. Nothing's going to be out in this ferocious weather. I spoke to my neighbour and he'd lost a couple of his geese who were sitting on eggs, and 8 of his ducks are missing. So we've got some hungry foxes with some new cubs, I think, that are needing feeding. But it was really sad because I love my chickens, and although they were really naughty and they were coming out and shitting all over the veranda, you know, they're such characters, and it's just completely tragic. And that's life living on a farm. You kind of get really up close and personal to life and death. The other day I just saw a dead magpie just lying on the drive. I was like, what happened to that? So yeah, just feeling that grief and sadness today. So I just thought, put on some earrings, put on a pretty dress, and just show up. And let's see what the cards are going to say about this next couple of weeks, as I kind of feel like we're going to get a shift in energy, but let's just see. Anyway, I hope you're traveling well. I think it's quite an emotional time for everyone. So if you're like, oh, you know, if there's things coming up, often it's, you know, to bring up a release in you of some sort, whether it be anger or tears or frustration, whatever. Just trust that it's all meant to be as it's meant to be. But, Jesus. That's full on. It's full on. So let's see, what do we need to know about the next couple of weeks? In terms of, you know, opening us up to anything new, our focus, things that will support us. So let's look at, what do we need to know about the next couple of weeks? Oh, Christ. She's out and about. She is out and about. Okay, for those of you who don't know my deck, the School Marm is my card for the inner critic. She is fierce and she's all about scarcity and competition. Everything's not good enough. Everybody's doing better than her. She gets into that sort of compare and despair place. And it seems like she might be, you know, raising to the surface. Now that could be not just in your everyday kind of, you know, menial life that is not good enough, but it might extend out into, you know, a global collective states where we're like in so much despair about what's going on in the world. It's like, what can I do more? What can I do more? What can I do more? I should be doing more. I should be doing more. And actually sometimes what we're just being asked to do is, can we just be present to the discomfort that we feel in our body and still continue to keep it open and undefended and allow, you know, the emotions to move through us. We don't always have to be out in the front lines, okay, with anything going on in our lives. But she is showing up. She is showing up. So watch how you're speaking to yourself. You know, if that inner critic starts ramping up and starts, you know, talking about, you know, how you're working, how you're showing up as a parent, how you're showing up as a, you know, child, how you're showing up as a colleague, as a friend, as all the things, just know that she's in, it's not good enough and you need to do better. Unless the inner critic can have a place when it comes to like editing work, or, you know, just being really mindful about, you know, things that are really important. But when she starts getting vicious and nasty, not helpful. So I'm going to see what else wants to come and support that card, because it's never listen, these things are never like a huge issue if you have awareness. Awareness is always about breaking patterns, okay? If you have awareness about what is alive in your energy field, then you go, that's who's talking to me. But she's definitely going to ramp up. So just be mindful of that, okay? Just keep going. I'm doing the best I can. Thank you. Thanks. Turn the volume down. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. Okay, how can we support ourselves knowing that that is what may be alive? BROUGHTY FERRY. Okay, that's my card for, you know, reflection and beginnings. And often, you know, the inner critic can have been set up by, I mean, obviously the society at large, but often it can be set up in the environment that we grew up in. And it was role modeled to us by, you know, our caregivers, or, you know, people that we would see regularly or be exposed to. And so this is saying this could be an opportunity to clean up some of that. I feel that you're being given an opportunity to kind of clean that up, but also return to that foundational place of security and structure, and take out all the really good bits, because that's also what this card means. It's like, you would have been, you know, all sorts of things would have been set up and programs installed during that time, but equally so there'll be some good stuff in there around maybe work ethic, maybe around taking care of yourself, maybe around just, you know, general routine in your day-to-day life. It's like, look for the good stuff that really resourced you there, okay? I'm going to pick one more card. One more card. Oh, Pan. This is my card for leadership, okay? Pan was leader of the herd. And leadership really means, for me, about having the courage to make decisions, okay, about anything. You know, often we can get into those spaces of, I don't know what to do, so I'll do nothing. Instead of going, I can see a decision needs to be made here and I'm just going to make it. And I'm not going to make it wrong. If it doesn't go according to plan, I'm just going to trust that that was the next right step. It's when we make ourselves wrong, she shows up and goes, oh no, that was the wrong decision. Should have gone that way. Says who? Says who? How do you know that what I learned by making that choice wasn't exactly what I was meant to be learning in that moment? Leadership is around, you know, a level of sovereignty as well. It's about going, I know who I am and I know what's important to me, and I'll lead from that place, okay? And I'll speak up about things that are important to me. I'm not going to sort of sit in echo chambers and just, you know, parrot what everybody else is saying. I'll be clear on who I am and what I stand for. I'm not just going to do what everybody else is doing because that's what everybody else is doing, because I think that's what I should be doing in order to fit into that kind of set of, you know, community, that community sort of structure. This is about going, actually, maybe I need to go off in a different direction. Maybe I need to go over there. And I know it's not been done before, but maybe that's where I need to go because that's what feels right for me. You know, we have a world that is rapidly changing and feels like it's dismantling. And as a result of that, new ideas are going to come to you about doing something differently. And it takes courage to lead in a different way, to think in a different way, because often, you know, historically, the eggs are thrown at that person. Wow, what on earth are you thinking? That's a ridiculous way to think. Can you still do it anyway? I don't know if anybody saw, most people have, the David Beckham on Netflix documentary. And you can see how when he is singled out at Real Madrid, and he is, was it Real Madrid? I think he was. Yeah, but anyway, the coach was just being an absolute shit to him and wouldn't let him train with the other players, punished him because he was leading in a different way. He didn't want to just stick to the way that all footballers had behaved. He was like, oh no, I'm wanting to stretch and grow into this. I see an opportunity for this. And, you know, as is always always the case, when the tribe sees somebody moving on, it starts to immediately try and beat them back into the tribe. And he trained on his own. And I think it was also post the World Cup incident where he had reacted by kicking somebody that had overreacted. And, you know, so there was so much shame going on, and he was being ostracized. And yet he just kept going, and he kept doing what he believed in. And he didn't change who he was. But what was at his actual core from this bit, this family home, was it was instilled to him at a very young age. Focus, repeat, focus. Take that kick again, take that kick again. And yes, you know, that can show up in those circumstances. So you have to be really careful about that, because often that's being a parental voice or a coach voice that say, come on, do it again. But taking away the good part of that is that, you know, you're incredibly determined, committed, focused, structured, and determined just to bloody get there. And I feel like that is what we're having to call on at the moment is, you know, where did we see that level of determination? And I feel like I want to pull a grace card, but that level of determination and fortitude and endurance and all those words that really kind of anchored fuck this, I'm going to focus and just get my head down and get on with it. And Pam was very, very, you know, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. He was really strong-headed. Is that the right word? I can't seem to think that's the right word for some. It wasn't level-headed. It was strong-headed. Okay, let me just get a grace card because I feel like we might need some grace. These are pre-made cards that I made myself. So let's have a wee look and see what these are like. I created them from these words that I came across in a book by Caroline Mice, and I use them in my lady circles. But I sometimes just like, sometimes we need a grace. So let's just pull a grace to support us in this moon cycle. Comfort. Well, that's back to front. Comfort. Okay. Comfort. Find ways to comfort yourself. Okay. When it all gets a bit too much, comfort yourself. Okay. It might be mashed potatoes, or it might be, you know, just this. Sometimes doing this is really lovely. It's very settling to the nervous system. Might be just getting a new pillow. Might be doing some restorative yoga. Might be, you know, having a foot bath. Might be walking on the grass. Might be having a really hot bath and wrapping yourself in loads of sort of towels afterwards. It's like, bring comfort to yourself. It might be sharing a struggle with somebody you know who's got the capacity to give you empathy and understanding. Allow yourself to receive comfort, okay? At the moment, to be understood, to be comforted, because it's tough out there, okay? Be kind to yourselves. All right, so we've got school mommy showing up. We've got childhood. You know, some of the patterns set up in childhood, be aware of them with this regard around how we speak to ourselves, but also look for some of the good in there, okay, because some of that really serves you and will help you lead in a new and different way, and have the courage to do that. You know, just because nobody else is doing it, or nobody else is speaking like it, or drawing like it, or sewing like it, or, you know, passionate about it, whatever, cooking like it, doesn't matter. You do you. Do it your way. Try something new. You don't have to share it with anybody, but just give yourself permission to do that. All right, my loves. Listen, happy full moon. I'm not sure where when it goes totally full. Hang on 2 seconds. Let me just get my full moon book. Where is my full moon book? Here. Full moon, full moony. So it's in Taurus, super deluxe. Okay, here we go. Oh, full moon. It's actually tomorrow it's happening. But it goes in... Hang on. 7:20 in the morning in Australia. Okay, 7:24. So we're still in that cycle. So just be aware of that. Okay, full moon in Taurus. That's probably why we've got comfort, because I'm a Taurian and I'm all about comfort. There's also a partial lunar eclipse which will be visible from Western Australia, but I do believe it might be visible in the States too. So listen, tread carefully, look after yourselves, sending you so much love as always, and I'll see you very soon. I'll see you in a couple of weeks anyway for the new moon, and I may pop in if there's anything going on that I feel might be helpful. Sending you so much love.